How's it going, everyone? The 1MFP here. I hope you're all doing great today. So this is actually me after having just reacted to Breach instead of going straight into editing the footage and posting it. I do have the digital remains version of the album, so I do have access to Drag Path. So I thought I'd go ahead and film a little reaction to it. I didn't want to include it in the album reaction because I like to keep the album reaction limited to the original track listing, just everything that appears in the album as intended, if you will. I say intended, it's not really the proper word. It's just that I don't feel like the bonus tracks necessarily fit into the overall narrative that is trying to be told with the album. It's kind of just a bonus. So I'm treating this as a separate reaction. But if you're on this video and care about what I thought about Breach, how I interpreted any of the music, please feel free to check out that video. I'll have it linked down below. I'll also have my 21 Pilots reaction playlist listed down below, which contains all my 21 Pilots reactions starting back from 2018 when I kind of discovered them. I didn't really discover them in 2018. I heard Heavy Dirty Soul prior to that, but I really discovered them through these reactions, right? Like Levitate was the first reaction, and you, the viewers, kind of got me into the rest of it. You got me to listen to Jumpsuit. You got me to revisit Heavy Dirty Soul, actually. And then I kind of reacted to the Trench music video trilogy and got into the album reactions. So through all of that, I really discovered 21 Pilots music, and now they're one of my favorite bands. So just so fun doing these reactions and sharing that experience with you all. So that being said, all of those videos can be found in that playlist. This one here, this reaction, is just me reacting to Drag Path after having reacted to the album. Like, I literally just finished my concluding thoughts on the album. I'm jumping straight into this. So here we go, Drag Path.
When I see the devil's eyes, a current travels down my spine. He found me. Seems as though I've lost again. A story told ad nauseum. He found me. He's tried his hand at drowning me, but I'm still on fire. At least I'm pretty sure. When I see the devil's eyes, I'll look away and smile wide. You found me, 'cause then I'll know you're also there. 'Cause proof is in the adversary. I dug my heels into the gravel as evidence for you to unravel the drag path etched in the surface. Can you find me? Will you please, please hurry? Then the sun began begins to rise. We made it through the darkest night. You found me.
Wow, what an absolutely beautiful song. I'm blown away. Oh, that was so good. Um, I, I don't know. I don't, I don't know why they didn't include this in the album, but at the same time, I feel like it makes sense to include it in this capacity. I feel like Breach really, it's just really well packaged, and this song is just like a nice, a cherry on top. Um, with intentions, we really end off on a point where it's like we're starting the cycle over again, but we are now aware that the cycle doesn't actually need to be broken. It makes sense that we go through this time and time again. Now that I think of it, I feel like this is something I mentioned in one of the past reactions where, if the cycle is represented by the day, or the cycle of a day, so day and night, you don't actually want to break the cycle, right? You want to continue going through days. So as fearful as you might be of the night, you still want to go through it because you want to get to that next day and you want to be appreciative of that day. If you just live your days being fearful of the night, you're wasting your life away. And I think Intentions does a really good job of putting that in perspective. You have to purposefully work your way towards progress and not just think of it as having to go through the same things over and over again, because it's not necessarily the same things over and over again. As much as it may seem so, with some essence of intentionality, you'll move further along the path towards your objectives. And you'll achieve things, but yes, you will face the dark. You will face the nighttime again, and you will be forced to go through that again, but it will be worth it. And this song just kind of expands upon it all a little bit while touching on the lore a little more. When I see the devil's eyes, a current travels down my spine, he found me. Seems as though I've lost again, a story told ad nauseum. So I mean, the story he's referring to here, I would assume, is the story about Dima and his struggles with the bishops and with blurry-faced Nico. And I find it really interesting that he uses the word devil here. There may have been a few occasions where he's used the word, but I do think of the song The Judge when he says it, because in that song it doesn't feel like he's truly certain about what's what. He doesn't know if the song is about him or the devil. He doesn't know if it's him surrendering or if it's him celebrating himself. He's just not sure of who's who and what's what, whereas here it feels like it is very clear to him. He does know who he is. He does feel like he has lost, and he does feel like he's going to be starting from the start, but he hasn't lost hope, and that's why he's left this drag path etched on the surface. It's the map that leads to him, and it's his way out of this dark place. It's his way out of the city walls that confine him and that restrict his ability to express himself. And I just find it really beautiful that the song ends on those lines. Then the sun begins to rise. We made it through the darkest night. You found me. His intention was to leave that path so that he could be found, and ultimately he was found, and he made it through that dark night, through that obstacle, through that difficulty. He found a way out. He found a way through. He found a way to continue on his journey. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Drag Path. Matt from the future here, just stepping in, intervening a little bit. And I typically refrain from doing this. I think this is the first time I've ever done it. Usually these videos are really about me giving my initial interpretations of the songs. So, by the time I even post these, my interpretation may have evolved or changed a little bit. But in this specific case, I'm going to do it. I'm going to add a little bit onto it because I don't feel like my interpretation really did justice to some of the things I was feeling. I feel like I really just spoke on how this song relates to the lore, and I did kind of allude to the fact that it touches on elements outside of it, but I do want to dive a little deeper into that because at the end of the day, I do feel like the lore, every part of it has a real world counterpart. I guess the most obvious one and the one that's been talked about the most is the bishops and how they represent Tyler's fears and his insecurities. Then you have Clancy himself, and I don't know if there's like this general consensus as to who or what Clancy represents. In my mind, Clancy represents Tyler's consciousness, kind of where he finds himself within this world he's created and what's influencing him the most. So the closer he is to Dima and the closer he is to the bishops, the more he is influenced by, his fears, the more his actions are guided by his fears. And if he manages to escape that place and he's closer to Trench and he's closer to the Banditos, then he is more likely to be more aligned with his individual desires and his needs of self-expression. And the more he will feel free to do and say things that he gets fulfillment out of. And I did mention what the bishops represent, but I didn't really talk about what the Banditos represent. Well, they represent his support system, the people that love and care about him. So we're talking about his friends, we're talking about his family, we're talking about the fans. It's basically anyone who can inspire him and that can make him feel loved, I would say. And I do think it would be interesting to speak on where his faith falls within that concept. I do feel like, in a lot of these songs, and especially he spoke on it in City Walls with Breach, he's trying one last time to really get his faith on his side. He's really trying to get those answers regarding his faith that he feels would set him free. Ultimately, he's really trying to find alignment between where Trench is situated in this world and his faith. He's trying to make faith be aligned with the Banditos. He's trying to have faith 100% be on that side of the world. Whereas sometimes I think it could be either or. Sometimes it can be more aligned with his fears. Sometimes it can be the source of his fear. So I think faith is just one of those things that could really find itself in different places within this world that Tyler has created. And I think his struggles with situating it within this world, despite all his attempts at control, truly frustrate him, and it's kind of one of the reasons you'll have him lashing out here and there, especially in this album, but also in the past. So I think that subject in of itself is really fascinating, but not to get sidetracked by that. The main reason I wanted to bring this up in this video, as I even stepped away from reacting, I found myself singing the chorus of the song over and over again. It really stuck with me. There's two words in particular that really resonated or that really stuck out. It's kind of like if I had them laid out on a page, it was just these two words that were highlighted. And I was just trying to figure out why those two words in particular were so meaningful to me within the context of this song. The two words in question are surface and unravel. If we're going to talk about the lore, the surface would seemingly just refer to, what we saw in the music videos of, say, Jumpsuit and Levitate as Tyler was getting dragged away. More so Levitate because he's talking about heels digging into the ground. That would be more possible with Levitate because in Jumpsuit, it seems like he was being dragged by his feet. But either way, you get where I'm going with that, right? He's getting dragged away to Dima by Nico. And him leaving that path is his attempt to ensure that the Banditos will be able to find their ways to him. Now, speaking on the real world significance of that, his fears are dragging him to a place where he's confined within himself, a place where he doesn't feel comfortable expressing himself, a place where he just isolates and doesn't really have a clear path forward. So that leaves us with the question of what does the drag path refer to within this context in terms of real world application? What does it mean in the real world? So I perceive the surface as something that is immediately perceivable to the public. You don't have to dig deep to find any sort of meaning. It's whatever's on the surface is just what's directly available. And that's where this music finds itself, right? It's directly available for anyone to consume, and they can choose to consume it in any way they want. And that brings me to the next term, unravel. If you've truly listened to 21 Pilots music, it's no secret what this music means to Tyler. He's talked about it so many times in so many different ways. What it comes down to, in my opinion, if you unpack the contents of this music, if you unravel everything that he's embedded into this lore, you're getting a path that leads straight to Tyler, or to Clancy, which is, in my opinion, Tyler's consciousness. You're going straight to his mind, you're going straight to his heart by traveling that path. And traveling that path simply meaning by, listening to this music, by making it something important to you, by making it something you connect with and something that is meaningful to you. A bond is created just because of how much this music means to him as well. And that bond, that journey you go through by listening to this music, by connecting to it, by being a part of 21 Pilots world and, being one of the banditos. By being a part of that, you are part of what sets him free from his place of confinement. And that's really what Drag Path means to me in terms of real world application. This is a song about the music that they put out and what it means to them. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say in terms of how I felt about this song and how I interpret what's being said here. I do strongly believe there's strong ties to the lore. I just also think that pretty much everything that happens in the lore also has a real world counterpart. And in terms of what the drag path represents, I think it's just really about the music being this thing that ultimately anybody can connect with, but it's going to be up to the people that really connect with the music to follow that path. And if they do, they're led straight to Tyler and his mind. And the people that end up doing that, well, that's the people that he sees in Trench. So when you hear a song like Leave the City, where he says, in Trench, I am not alone. These faces facing me, they know what I mean. I think that's what he's referring to. The people that do choose to follow that path and listen to what he has to say are the people that will set him free from that place where he might feel like he shouldn't express himself or express his thoughts. And that place where, he's more likely to silence himself or to conform to ideas and thoughts that are not necessarily conducive to his growth. That's all I wanted to add on. Pardon the interruption, but thank you for watching. I'll send it back to Matt from the past to conclude this video. Absolutely love this song. Very happy to have the opportunity to listen to it and to have the opportunity to share that experience with you all. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. Hope you enjoyed the album reaction if you watched that. Hope you enjoyed this new 21 Pilots music. Some fantastic stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to listening to it a lot. And I wish you all the best in enjoying that process of listening to this music at repetition as well. Have a great day, y'all. Take it easy. Take care.